for us, right? Like, exactly. I mean, until we got disabled, so like, how often do you really think about, oh, this accessible bathroom isn't really accessible? It'd be like, okay, like you've got no push button on the door, but you've got the wheelchair sign on it. Be like,
how am I supposed to get out of here?
Yeah. How are you supposed to get in and or out? Like, the door opens one way. Be like, that's very hard as a person in a wheelchair to open. Like,
especially if you don't have the use of your hands, like all of us do.
Yeah.
You know, but that's a good segue to kind of go into, like, I want to talk a little bit about, like, obviously a dramatic situation that happened to you, which is obviously getting a spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
Tell us about that story.
Fun times. Did you want like the short version, the medium version, or the long version?
Give us the long version. We got all the time.
Okay, yeah. So the short version is I skied into a tree and royally fucked myself up. We're allowed to swear on here. Because,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. That's the short version. Yeah. The long version is I went skiing and I skied into a tree, which apparently you're not supposed to do. I had to learn that the hard way. You know, people told me not to do that. I was just like, but is it really so bad? Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. So yeah, I like hit the tree. I was lying in the snow. I like instantly lost feeling from like my waist down, but I didn't really notice it because, you know, your body starts going into shock, right? Like,
it's more like a tingly feeling than like,
it's just it just like your whole brain's just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm in the snow just looking up. My leg is clearly broken, like at an odd angle, like, and so that's all you really see when you look at me. Be like, okay, shit, her leg is broken. Like, pushing a button here.
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
Okay, cool. Oops. Yeah. So I was surrounded by people on the hill. They were like, okay, you know, we have to straighten your leg. This is gonna hurt. I was like, oh, okay, and they did it, and I didn't feel anything, and I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Okay. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Is this really happening to me? They started cutting off my clothes, and I was like, I just bought these pants.
I know that feeling. Like, I know that feeling.
I was like, listen, guys, do you really have to? And my coat, too. Can you just take the coat off? They're like, we have to get your clothes off. They're like, okay, well, now I'm naked in the middle of winter on a hill, now being sledded down the hill. And it wasn't until I got into the ambulance when I knew something was wrong. I was like, okay, you know, something's really bad, because, like, they lay you flat. I had the thing around my neck, and, you know, my leg is now straight and couldn't feel anything, really. And I was, obviously, my body was going into shock, so I was slowly bleeding to death, I guess. Just, like, body's like, okay.
Shutting down.
Yeah, but then the ambulance started going, and, you know, every bump, they lay you on this hard platform there, and just like I completely shattered my sacrum and like my pelvis, so like any little bump, my butt's just bouncing against this board. I've never screamed like that in my entire life. Oh my god, so much pain. It was awful. I'm pretty sure I scared the living daylights out of the poor person in the ambulance. She's like, oh my god, what's wrong? Where are you hurting? I was like, my fucking ass! My fucking ass! I eventually like had somebody prop their fists up under like my pelvis, and that helped a little bit, but oh my god, it was awful. And I guess they weren't able to get an IV in me, because I assume I was just bleeding out, so my veins were just like, hey, we're gone. No, son. And so they didn't give me any like pain medication until I got to the hospital, and the doctor's like, okay, what'd she receive for pain? And they're like, we haven't been able to give her anything. He's like, are you fucking kidding? And after that, everything was just sort of in and out, you know, like one of those movie scenes where you just get like these flash shots, right? And I was just like, is this really happening? Like, I'm staring up at the ceiling, like people are talking to me, and it's
white light.
Very, very bizarre. And then I guess they must have stabilized me at Collingwood Hospital, and then they put me in an orange to Sunnybrook. Okay. So, you know, I got to fly and everything, which was pretty cool.
The orange helicopter. It's funny because, like, as you say that, I remember being at Lyndhurst, and like when you're outside, you always see the orange helicopters fly.
Too,
right? You hear them
loud.
And see it fly over, going over to Sunnybrook all the time.
Sunnybrook, yeah, that was me. So now, anytime like one of those like passes me by, I'm just like flashbacks. Be like, I hope that person's okay up in there, right? Because you know it's bad if they've got the orange going. So turns out I had, you know, broken my sacrum, my spine dislocated from my pelvis. I broke my T12, L1. Jesus. My L5 was like a complete burst fracture, and then everything else. Plus, I broke my femur, and my aorta tore, which contributed to the shock. So I was just like slowly bleeding out from like my heart. Both my lungs were punctured, so having problems breathing. I had internal bleeding. They were considering potentially removing my spleen because they're just like, oh, she might have like really damaged her spleen. Thank God they didn't have to remove that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So I had 3 major surgeries. The first one was to fix the heart. They did an abdominal exploration, so I got a nice big cut there. When they tried to fix my heart, it actually fully tore, and so like they had to do chest compressions while the doctor was fixing my heart because I was actually dying. So they had to give me like huge amounts of fluid and blood products and everything. So I swelled up. It didn't even recognize me. I got my mom to be taking pictures too. I was between like in and out of surgeries, and like my mom's like, I'm totally intubated. I have no idea what's going on, but my mom's like there, and I'm in and out, and I'm just like, take pictures of me. Like I was like, I need to know what's going on. So I've got like these some interesting pictures. So my mom's like, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this. I'm like getting worked up. So like my heart's going. She's like, oh god. Okay. I'm gonna take pictures. So I've got some cool, pictures of like they had to leave my stomach open because I had so much fluid on board from when they gave me fluids during the surgery.
With, like your stomach open?
Yeah. I've got a picture of like my stomach open. They put like a plastic sheet over it. Really bizarre looking. But if they had closed me up, I had so much fluid on board it would have damaged my organs. So they had to leave me open until some of the swelling went down. I didn't even know that was a thing. Pretty cool though. And then the second surgery was to close me up, and then the third surgery was all the spine stuff and fixing my leg and whatnot. So I had like staples all over my body, just pretty intense. I had some pretty wild hallucinations though throughout it all. It was pretty fun. Gotta love that ketamine.
Oh god. What, like